Exactly.
Sketchy
Good
people.
Segue, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you both host a show called Strictly Stalking, sister show here on PodcastOne. So we're going to ask you some stalking questions today because you guys are the experts. So first of all, why a stalking podcast? How? Why?
Well, it was a kind of random. I called Jake one day and I was like, I really want to do a podcast, but everyone's already doing all the cool murders, so I can't do a podcast, and now my life is over. Because I'm a very dramatic person, especially when it comes to like things like that. And so Jake is very logical and like has to think everything through, and I don't think anything through. So I'd already had a fake podcast in my mind that I gave up because everyone else was already doing it. And so he's like, well, yeah, no one's doing stalking. And I was like, I don't even know what stalking is. That's stupid. And I hung up on him. And then,
True story.
which is a lot of our phone calls. I don't really like talking on the phone. And then a few minutes later, I was like on Google, like, what the fuck is stalking? And I'm like, wow, this is a whole crime that I know nothing about. Like, that's horrible and rad at the same time. Like, we can totally... I don't know about it. Other people don't really know about it either, right? Because I'm pretty, I feel like I'm pretty intelligent.
Because, stalking is different than harassment. Or,
right.
There's all different words for it, but stalking is something very particular.
Right. So then I got kind of obsessed with it. Pun intended. And I built out this whole deck. I stayed up for 3 days. I'm like, I'm doing this podcast. Like, let's do it. And I sent it to Jake, and Jake was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's do it. And then Jake did... all the fixings of everything, because I'm very like, okay, I'm done. Like, I did it. And then
It's like first draft submission?
Pretty much. I'm like the first drafter. And then, Jake kind of fixed it up, and that was it.
Teamwork.
Yin-yang partnership,
Beautiful.
There's many ways that it works, and I think that in terms of her, like the way we describe it is that Jaimie jumps in the pool, and then I check if there's water in it.
Great.
That's literally the mantra for our whole relationship.
I see that 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really like that in all my things.
Listen, it's good you have each other.
Absolutely.
So your show is structured such that you have first-person stories on. You have guests coming on and talking about their personal experiences, much like we do on our show. So I would love to start out by, if you feel comfortable, walking us through maybe each of your kind of favorite or most compelling or memorable stories that you guys have kind of had on your show.
Wow. Jake can go first. I know which one he's going to say.
Well, first of all...
He's so predictable.
Well, okay. I'm going to feel this because...
Like a wild rabbit over here.
Thank you. Generally speaking, it's like every stalking story is different. There's really not one that's actually, like the cookie cutter situation. Like most stalkers' behaviors are very similar. But, we've done over 134 stories so far, and not one of them is the same. It can come from a domestic partner. It can come from a driving instructor. It can come from a parent. You just never know where that's going to come in.
I listened to the driving instructor one, and holy shit.
That is creepy, huh?
About 35 years older than her, basically.
59, she's 18.
Yeah, exactly. So basically just sort of controlled her, started making these TikTok videos, started wanting to kind of live within her life and sort of like take over. And, he started adapting to her. He's like, I'm going to make a TikTok video. I'm going to make this little romantic
59-year-old knows how to make TikTok videos? Because I'm still struggling.
I don't even know how to log in.
There are some older people on TikTok.
But he said I stayed up all night making
it must have taken a while.
And that is the problem, because I find myself, we also wanted to ask you guys if you've ever been stalked and whatever. If I get into a little stalking situation with somebody, I find myself feeling very sorry for them. And I can see how she got sucked into that by him being like, I was up all night making this TikTok. So,
There's a lot of guilt when it comes to these things, and a lot of people in their lives telling them, maybe you did something. Maybe you sent out a signal. A lot of guilt plays into that, which is extremely inappropriate. But that's one of those things, is that stalkers know how to play on someone's sympathy. They really understand how to control, ultimately, the emotion that someone's going to put forth and how to do that.
Can you tell us about the story that you think about the most, maybe?
To me, the stories that really resonate are any time there's domestic abuse involved, where someone can't get away from their stalker. There are certain stories that come in. We had one where a woman actually fought back against her stalker. It was a military guy, and he was basically surveilling her using all the things he learned in the military.
Oh my God,
all this
scary.
espionage and all these things in order to do that. And she ended up trapping him and setting up a sting to put him behind bars. So those are those kind of stories.
That's a movie.
It really is. Trapping Her Stalker, episode 116. It was
With
really
his military skills. Oh my gosh.
How did she trap him? Is that a spoiler alert?
I don't want to tell too much, but
Okay.
basically the whole thing was set up like a sting where basically she ended up planting a device on his car and able to like turn the tables. So literally she was able to use his own tricks and tools against him in order to carry that out.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Holy shit, what a genius.
Yeah, 100%. So those are those kind of stories. But the other ones that come up are the ones where people are literally trapped with their stalker and they're under a realm of domestic abuse, all these things, and they can't get away. We had one case on where a woman was told by the elders in her church that she should marry his stalker so he would stop stalking her. Because this is how a man pursues a woman. He's very aggressive, very obsessive with this, and he ends up taking it to that next level, and they end up giving her that advice. So guess what? She marries the stalker.
I guess that is the quickest way to make a man lose interest in you is to marry him.
I agree.
I mean, I'm sure this observation has been made by y'all on your show many times, but I just think of franchises like Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey, and and even You, which I don't personally think makes him look like a good guy, but some people, their takeaway is, oh, he's so hot when
he
he's
is
stalking
kinda
and murdering.
hot.
I mean, he's objectively hot,
Right.
But it's that physically he is hot,
Right.
The stalking is maybe not as hot.
Well, I think what Strictly Stalking does is it pulls back and pulls away the romanticism
Yeah.
of stalking.
Yeah.
When you really hear the words in the people that have lived through this,
Yeah.
you really kind of understand that the media, unfortunately, I mean, I learned about stalking through film and TV. I didn't know anything really about stalking before we got into this show and started to take a deep dive and hear these words, from the actual people who have gone through it. But it really does pull away the romantic feelings and the vibes and really kind of dissects what media presents versus what really happens.
Even growing up, I feel like just regular rom-coms presented love as this thing that would be kind of obsessive and unusually quick to fall in love, which is a red flag and not how healthy relationships most of the time should start. Like,
Shit, really?
Jaimie.
Kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
No, I mean, obviously there are exceptions to that, but I think generally, love bombing is a red flag. And we grow up seeing this in movies and thinking, oh, that's what romance is. That means somebody's like really into me and this is love.
For sure.
We talked about like Say Anything if you've seen that when John Cusack holds the boombox outside Diane's house. That literally, it's so romantic in the movie, but imagine if somebody did that in real life. Imagine if somebody was on your parents' lawn.
In Love Actually, the fucking guy shows up to his best friend's new wives, and like, it's like,
Merry Christmas.
I will love you until I die. I just filmed you and only you at your wedding.
That was so weird.
And everyone thinks it's so romantic.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like the movie magic, though.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to make the Joe from You. They're not going to make him, like, super ugly, right?
No,
that's
he
part
can
of
be
it.
hot, but I
I mean, like, that's part of it. Like, they're
Yeah.
trying to make you like him, otherwise you're not going to keep watching.
Yeah,
You know, we're all a little bit in film, we're in LA, so, like, we kind of understand that, but other people out there don't really, I think, understand that part of it, is that it's the movie magic part that makes you like them. It's the writing.
Yeah, but I think there are ways to do that also depict like healthier kinds of love. And I'm not
It's
saying
not as entertaining.
Fucking can't think right now, but there are some, and they're by what's her face, Nancy.
Oh yeah, Nancy.
Okay, you've got mail. Thank you. That is the healthy They get to know each other over time, you guys. Although he does pretend to be.
He pretends
not
to be
himself.
someone else. He's the evil bookstore owner.
I don't think...
But they are getting to know each other slowly, and they have a real friendship, and that is what counts.
He's lying about his.
But also,
identity.
he's a corporate.
Lies about his
he's
full
an evil
identity,
corporate.
but that's fine.